Hello there, I am currently making my first video about NaNoWriMo, and if you've been following me on any of my other social media accounts or profiles, I've been quite active this month regarding National Novel Writing Month, which is, if you don't know, it's a challenge to write 50,000 words in the month of November. A good many people who are doing this challenge are currently trying to do so separate from the actual NaNoWriMo organization, and that's due to various controversies surrounding the use of AI and various other issues with the organization at the moment. Given those issues, I have decided to participate in the challenge on my own, apart from the organization, and that has meant that there is a certain lack of accountability and support. I've done pretty well, I think, and I've been very happy with my progress. I'm currently at 21,000 words, just over 21,000, and I am hoping to reach 25,000 by Friday. So what I'm seeing on many of the forums in which I'm active, one of those forums being the r/NaNoWriMo subreddit. There's another one called Mythic Scribes, which is a fantasy writers forum, if you don't know. But what I'm really seeing across all of these and across YouTube as well is that people are just saying they've started NaNoWriMo and they're just stalled. They just simply can't find a way to continue. And maybe it's a story issue, maybe it's a motivational issue, and they're just not able to keep churning those words out day after day. So because of that, I put together a Reddit post on how to write faster for Nano, 7 tips. And I'm just going to walk you through these and give you a quick demonstration of each of these and how I'm using them in my novel, Ash Branded, which you can see here. And as you can see, this is currently at 59 pages. There's a lot here, and I do have an outline that I'm continuing to go through bit by bit. And then I also have some additional pieces here at the end that are just like notes and little bits of poetry and so on for the story. So, you know, if you're not meeting your word counts, the first thing is like, don't be overly stressed. The reality is a lot of people start NaNoWriMo and it's just difficult. It's difficult to continue for a variety of reasons. It's difficult to hit your word counts. Maybe you have a lot going on in your life and you just simply don't have the time. That's all right. It's all right to get a slow start, and even if you don't meet the 50,000 word goal, you're still going to learn a great deal doing the challenge. And you know, with that said, let's talk about how to get faster. And first, I have to offer a bit of a disclaimer. Everyone's mind, of course, works very differently, and just because some of these strategies work for me doesn't mean that they'll be ideal for you. You're going to have to find your own ways to succeed in the end because you know yourself best. And also, I apologize if someone else has already covered any of these. I'm just going to put them all in one place so they're more accessible. So I'm not going to delete any that have already been mentioned. I'm not going to, you know, you can respond in the comments if you wish and tell me, oh, this has already all been covered, but I'm just going to keep it as is. So the first one is use the TK method. You can place TK, which can stand for to know or to come, depending on who you ask, in your novel to show places you'll need to add descriptions later. If you're anything like me, actions and dialogue come easily, but descriptions don't. And leaving a TK just lets you spend more time on the main thread of your story, and you can always come back to fill in TKs after. And in case you're wondering why TK, it's because there's no TK in the English language. So if you hit Control F on your Windows or Command F on a Mac, you can search for TK and there won't be any words in your novel that use it, maybe unless you're writing a fantasy novel. For example, if I put here TK, you can see it doesn't show up. Now, what happens here, let's say I have at the moment something called an ember lizard. Let's say I haven't quite decided how I want to describe the ember lizard in this scene. I'm going to go ahead and put TK here. I don't even need to put square brackets or anything else because again, all I have to do is search TK and it will take me right to this spot. I can be anywhere in the document and put TK and go straight to that spot. And that means that you can come back later and fill those in after you've completed your challenge. Let's go on to the second one. I wrote here, jump over to For the Words when you've stalled. If you're not familiar with forthewords.com, it's quite a nice little application here. And it allows you to, do some little challenges and fight some little monsters just simply by writing. And these little challenges, you can find them over here under Adventure. And there's quests that you can do. I have too many quests at the moment, but normally you would be able to click here, Take Quest, and go over here to Writing and just start writing, and it will apply the words that you write to those quests. So for example, when I go over here and I hit play, it will say next up, I can do Start Battle, and I would only need to type 50 words in 7 minutes. That should be a pretty easy challenge for me, and then I would be able to go to the next one. I have here Auto Start Next is on, but you don't have to have that on, and you can just continue to fight these monsters. And as you fight them, you gain more things to kind of level up your hero over here. You can have wardrobe and customize your character more, and there's inventory and all these things. I don't currently have a premium account, so this is entirely for free. And it's just a great way if you get stalled and just can't get to the next 100 words or so. That just can be absolutely invaluable. And gamification for me is just a fantastic way to stay on track. The third thing you can do is reward yourself for significant milestones. You deserve something for getting this far. Bigger rewards should go for bigger milestones, of course, to keep you going onward and upward. I really like this one. For myself, I'm primarily choosing rewards that really have to do with writing. So I have some journals and some, character building and world building workbooks and those kinds of things on my list. And I've currently got 2 of those. For my 20,000, I'm doing one every 10,000 words, but you could do one every 5,000 words, or you could even do a very small reward, such as a piece of candy or something for every 100 words or so that you get into your story. Whatever you have to do to keep yourself moving forward and really looking forward to those next rewards. The fourth point is to put on music in the background and extra points if it fits your genre and story. Now, I really recommend instrumental music, and the reason behind that is just that if you're listening to words, sometimes you start typing what you're hearing, or it can be distracting to you, or you start singing, or your mind starts wandering for whatever other reason. So instrumental music can really be invaluable for this. And for fantasy, which is my main genre, I highly recommend listening to anime soundtracks like Violet Evergarden and Fairy Tale, or video game soundtracks. There's Uncharted. There's so many soundtracks that are just absolutely fantastic, and you can have playing in your ear as you continue to write. And some other options are there's Epic Music World on YouTube, which has a bunch of just amazing compilations that are about an hour long, and you can usually listen to those for an hour or 2 hours and just write the whole time. And Carl Ed is another really excellent one. You probably haven't heard of him. He's a very small composer, or hasn't composed that many songs, or isn't that well known, but you can find him on SoundCloud. The fifth thing you can do is put on a timer or join a writing sprint. Now this one's really valuable. If you come over here and you simply type in timer for 5 minutes, you'll see here that Google actually sets a timer for you. It's very convenient, and you can just do it right here on your computer. And that's one of the ways to really just maintain your focus and keep you on track. There are also some Discord servers and those sorts of things where they'll lead you to places where you can do a writing sprint. I haven't personally done a writing sprint, but my understanding is that basically people just sit down and try to all write together and see how many words they can write in a certain amount of time. I wrote here also that I have ADHD, which means my hyperfocus is one of my best allies when it comes to Nano. I write late in the day, so my hyperfocus doesn't interfere with my day job, and I put on music or timer and just give myself a couple hours to completely immerse myself in my novel writing. And on a good day, that could last for hours. I just get so focused and I just write on, and it's very, very useful. I also wrote, if you're stalled within a scene, write an outline. I occasionally get to these scenes where I'm just like, I can't see where the characters are in the scene. I don't know how to get to the next portion of the scene, or I don't know how to transition to the next scene. And when that happens, you can just write a couple of quick bullet points to show the progression of how your characters are moving and talking in your scene. I also recommend that if you haven't completely outlined your book, you just outline just a couple of chapters ahead of where you are at least. It seems to speed things up for me. So you can see here in Ash Branded, when I go over here towards the end of where I'm at, I have this very nice formatted outline, right? And then I have just these kind of bullet points, and these are what I add, because these latter ones I intended to stick to this outline, but the reality is I just needed to add certain things. There were certain scenes that just weren't working out for me, so I add more here, and just a little bit to get me on to that next chapter. Alright, the last one is, if you're stalled in your story and you simply cannot write the next words, read or listen to a story instead. So if you're well and truly stuck, look for inspiration. People tell you just write the next 100 words, but maybe you have no idea where to take your story from here. Maybe you're just absolutely stuck and the dialogue just isn't working, or the story itself just seems off. Read a novel in the same genre you're trying to write in, or watch a movie, or listen to an audiobook with your notebook in hand. Write down anything that even slightly inspires you. It can get you to the next step. You can also do this with songs that remind you of your characters and story. This is one of my favorite things to do. You can look up what are called AMVs, anime music videos, or GMVs, game music videos, that put like these stories from the games and the animes to specific songs, and you can find a lot that might relate back to your story and how you're feeling at that moment. That can just help you get to that next little portion. I really think too that when you read something in your genre, for example, you're reading a horror novel, you're trying to write a horror novel and you read a horror novel, you can get just the slightest idea for how to finish out that scene or how to add a little bit more tension, and it just inspires you, it just keeps you moving. And I would just add, just as a last little bit of bonus advice for writing in general, it really helps to have a faster typing speed. So learn how to type faster. Spend your time on this. It's valuable. It is a huge life skill in general, but especially if you're going to be trying to do NaNoWriMo. And I put here typing.com. So typing.com is completely free. And it says here, join millions of typing.com users and learn to type at your own pace with gamified lessons and student-led progression. You can go at your own pace. You can also learn coding, career prep, and so on from typing.com, so I highly recommend them. They also have a number of fantastic games you can play to increase your typing speed. And over here I also have nitrotype.com. Nitrotype.com is a game that you can use basically to learn to type faster, and all you have to do is line up your cars and you'll have an opportunity to type the words shown on your screen. And the faster you type, of course, the better chance you have of winning against the other cars. Now, the sentences change, and you don't have to type especially fast to do this. You can type as slow as you want, and the other cars will be slower to adjust and just be a little bit faster than you, so you can race against them and you can improve your overall typing speed. Also got some great recommendations down here below the post. I don't know if they want me to share their usernames, so I'm going to be careful of that, but basically somebody recommended that you also type out dictation as a really excellent way to continue getting faster. And I think especially if you're typing out YouTube videos and you adjust the speed over on your YouTube video to make it slower so you can keep up, and then you keep adjusting that speed a little faster and a little faster until you are quite able to type at the speed of a natural conversation. And this will help you so much, especially when you're writing dialogue or these kinds of things in your book where you're not getting stalled because of your typing speed, but you're able to type straight through conversations and straight through chapters on one sitting. So these are my top 7 tips for NaNoWriMo. I think it's also helpful if you're trying to track your words and you're not doing the NaNoWriMo challenge as part of the organization. I would highly recommend TrackBear. I have that open over here, and basically you can have leaderboards and compete with other people. This one over here has 200 people on it, and we're currently competing for NaNoWriMo. And I will go ahead and put the link and the join code in the description of this YouTube video. But basically, you can go over here, you can add projects. I have here a couple of my different projects. Ash Branded is my project for NaNoWriMo. Once you have defined a project, you can enter progress for that project for a particular date. Select from the drop-down menu, put in how many words I've written, and just submit. And when I submit, that will be tracked over here on these leaderboards I've set up, so that it can see exactly where I am and how far I've progressed. This is how I've been tracking my words for NaNoWriMo up to this point. I'm going to put links to everything I've recommended for typing.com, for NitroType, for the words, TrackBear, and all of these various tools that you can use. And I would just say, stick with it. You've got this, and keep writing. We can do it.